Everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is 8:03 on a beautiful morning. Hope you're having a great start to the day. I'm West 2 First Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We do this just about every day, just about 7 days a week. Chat about what's going on in the world of weather. I've made a couple of tweaks. Hopefully the signal will be fairly stable today. I've made a few adjustments here, so hopefully we'll be good. My son has a doctor's appointment, and so he's doing his thing, and I'm here with you, and we're doing the coffee talk thing. And let's just start off by saying that it is beautiful outside. This is a live look from our West 2 Studios tower cam, looking pretty nice. Let me take you to downtown Orlando, see what's doing. Had a rocket launch earlier from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. It really was a beautiful sunrise out that direction. We'll head over to the Space Coast, see what's doing. There's the empty launch pad as ULA had their next successful Vulcan Centaur launch. So cool. All right, let's take you over to Port Canaveral, see what's doing here as well. Oh, yeah. What is today? Today's Friday. Yeah. There's one of the Oasis class ships in port. Oh, well. All right, we'll head up and see what's doing. And things are looking good as well up in New Smyrna Beach. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning. All right, so tower cams are looking good this morning. Happy to report that we're fairly quiet on our first warning live Doppler radar. Some offshore showers, but no big deal out there. Temperatures out the door. We're in the kind of depends on where you are range, right? Lower 70s north of town, mid to upper 70s back over to the metro area, even lower 80s back over here to the Space Coast. So things are looking pretty okay. Things are looking pretty okay. Happy New Year to you. Good morning. Good morning. Sharon, good morning to you. Nancy Bob, how are ya? Good morning from Concord, Ooh, shit, home of the Concord Blue Devils. All right. So we're looking pretty good. Hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful morning. It sounds like there was some sort of an anomaly, though. I'm just kind of watching the news feed, and it looks like there was some sort of an anomaly on one of the. Yeah, I see it very clearly there. Some sort of an anomaly on one of the systems with this morning's Vulcan. So it'll be interesting to hear. Made it to orbit just fine, but it looking at some footage definitely looks like there was some sort of a something happening. So anyway, will be interesting to hear in the space world kind of what happened there. All right, let's talk about our forecast today because we've got a lot to discuss, not just with our local forecast, but tropically. All right, so for today, we're working up to about a 40% coverage of showers and thunder showers. High temperatures in the upper range of the 80s. It's going to be a nice breezy day, 10, 15, 20 mile per hour breeze. Let's dial up the Futurecast machine, get an idea of when and where the rains will pop on up, right? Sound good? Very good. All right. If I was Futurecast, this is where I would be. All right. I'll bring it full screen. You don't need to see my ugly mug, but here's Futurecast through today. Okay. So we'll start off nice and, yeah, looking beautiful. Always a good sign when we've got a beautiful morning, taking it through time. Showers, even some heavier downpours around lunchtime, Flagler County or so. And then into the afternoon, popcorning up a little bit of additional rain, kind of on the west side. Lake Sumter, Marion counties, watching some heavier stuff, kind of trying to work off toward the west for today. So when we look at the all rain chances for the day ahead, here's kind of where we're at. Okay, highest chance of rain is going to be out toward like the Nature Coast and communities out that way. Okay. All right, so that's our forecast today. Let me just kind of get I'm sitting in the car, so don't judge me if my camera shot doesn't look as good as maybe it could. All right, so there's the forecast for today. Let's look at the next 7 days together. All right, rain chances absolutely going up next week, and this is going to be the weather story we discussed. I did my little reel yesterday on this. Certainly we're going to be talking about it today, tomorrow, the next couple of days. But 40% coverage of rain today, 40% coverage of rain tomorrow. And then we really ramp up that rain chance looking ahead to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Essentially all of next week is, for now, looking kind of like a crummy, rainy setup. I wish that I could give us some better news, but I don't have it. It looks like it's going to be kind of a crummy, rainy setup for Central Florida. Okay. Why? Because we've got several kind of opportunities for energy. All right. So let's just look at Monday, kind of a little piece of energy through. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, there's another piece of energy sliding through. So, and I didn't change this because I'm not the meteorologist on duty yet. I'll change this back. I don't love 1-2 punch. But essentially, there's going to be several little pieces of energy that are going to be sneaking through our area. And when I say our area, it's not necessarily Central Florida alone. It could be Central and some South Florida moisture. It could be just South Florida and we get some remnants. There's a very complex weather picture that's taking shape. Terry says better news than a hurricane for sure. I can't promise that we're not going to see something on a tropical nature. Um, could it be a tropical storm? Could it be a hurricane? All possible. And so because of the fact that some of the models have started going a little more bullish with development, the National Hurricane Center in their discussions have now upgraded back to a 40% likelihood of tropical development here. If you recall, we were at a 40%. Hurricane Center then dropped it to a 30%, and now they're back to a 40% chance of tropical development. The reason being that the models yesterday started getting a little feistier, started wanting to develop this again to a more organized area of low pressure. Now, remember, consistency breeds confidence. So when it comes to tropical stuff, or really when it comes to anything at all, you know, we have to watch and see where we go with this, okay? But we're not there yet. So let's just not be overly concerned on anything. Janice says, I will go to Publix and buy up all the water. Not. Yeah, don't do that. Clearly don't do that. So here's what we can do, okay? We can look at some of the raw models and we can try to get an idea of what they're saying, all right? So let's start with, let me find it. The fun thing is the area that I'm in has terrible cell coverage. So I'm actually curious, compared to other coffee talks that I've done from the car, how is my signal right now? Because the cell coverage is poor, but I made some tweaks on the system here. So I'm curious for you to tell me if it seems like it's a little bit better. I'm working for you. I'm trying to work hard for you. So tell me if it's looking any better. I'm hoping so. Ironically, I'm running Coffee Talk out of the television station. So theoretically, the stream itself should be good. The only thing that would ever have an issue would be my video and my audio. But all right, as long as it seems fine, I'm happy with that. My tweaks worked. Yes, better than the last few, but still some choppiness. Some choppiness is, I suppose, to be expected when I'm remote like this. So yeah. All right. Your signals, what does this say? Your signal is fine. Video stream seems a lot better when you're at the airport in your car. Yeah, your signal's okay, but not perfect. I'll take okay, but not perfect. I'm just trying to make sure that it's okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, so here's the American GFS model, and we'll run through time here on this, okay? Can we please be sure the people that develop the models are getting plenty of rest, good food, and coffee? I feel like that's probably always the idea, right? All right, let's run through the GFS together. It's developing. What we're looking at is winds here, because at least in tropical sense, so you've got this like breezy thing, but nothing too organized. You're just looking at like a storm system that's picking up a breeze and nothing more than that. That was the 6Z run. Let's look at the 000 runs. So this is the early morning one. All right, give it a second to buffer the data. All right, good. We'll run through time here. And yeah, it's not really doing much. Actually, like it's at the very 11th hour, like off of the east coast of Florida. It looks like it's trying to do something right in there. Right. All right. So that's the GFS. Let's take a look at the European. Remember, 6Z does not go out very far, but will at least show what we can show. And I think it runs 90 hours, something to that effect. Yeah, so it's not like it doesn't go out, doesn't show much, which is fine, totally good. I'm not over here hoping for much. All right, let's go to the Euro 00Z run. Da, 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 da. It's got like maybe a depression, maybe a storm, something like that. Coming into South Florida, that's the 00Z run, right? And we'll look at the normalized mean sea level pressure anomalies in a minute. Graph. Let's look at this. This is our future cast model. All right, and I want to show this, and before I go too deep, I've seemingly noticed a bit of a bias with our future cast. So before I show this, I just need to discuss. I noticed that our future cast seemingly, when there are tropical systems developing, it seemingly has a bias to over strengthen it. So when I say that, understand that when I show you this data, understand I have observed it being a little aggressive with development and strengthening. Okay, so we'll go back, we'll look at the futurecast model, but just understand that when we look at this. Okay, all right, so here's our futurecast, the most recent run. This is the 6Z run of futurecast, and it's pulling together moisture. But right there, you see how I mean, that's a hurricane. So futurecast this morning is wanting to pull together a hurricane in the 6Z run. We go back to the 00Z run, and it's weaker. Okay. I mentioned it. I wanted to share it. I wanted to share all the data, but I wanted to do so in a responsible way, just so that you understand that, like, consistency breeds confidence. Okay. So understand that. All right. Understand that. All right. All right. So let's go back and let's look at some more raw model data, because there's this idea too. Of course, I have to log into the models. All right, let me log into the raw models. Sign in. Maps. GFS. Pressure normalized anomaly. Okay. All right, I've got that all dialed up. All right. So I've got that dialed up for you. Let's look at the raw models together. Here's the GFS model. And we'll just roll this through time here. Right? All right. So you've got kind of some lowering pressure here. That's Sunday. GFS is wanting to put it like 1,002 millibar low into South Florida. That's weak. That's just sloppy rain. Border, getting into like tropical depression kind of thing. And then on Thursday, Friday, we've got this other little piece of energy that kind of sneaks through, but you can clearly see the GFS is not going like hog wild on anything. And then high pressure tries to sneak in, and you can see it just kind of keeps a sloppy old front with some energy around South Florida. So there's that. Okay. All right. Let's rewind back to the beginning. Let's switch over and let's look at the European model. And again, this is the 06Z, so it doesn't go out but 90 hours, but at least it'll give us an idea to look. Okay. All right. By the way, B says TV stations buy the graph model from IBM to scare you. I just feel like I need to address the fact that that's not the case. It comes with our weather system, and we can make tweaks to it, and we do make tweaks to it. But it is like anything else. It's a model. We do not buy any model to scare anybody. Okay? So I just need to make sure that everybody knows that. We don't buy anything to scare people. All right? I've thought about ignoring that, but I just feel like I need to make sure that you understand. Last thing that we want want to do is scare you. The absolute main thing we do. I'm not working right now. Like I'm not out to scare you. I'm actually here to try and like control concerns and to make sure to give good, broad discussion data. Okay, so I felt the need to at least mention that. All right, back to what is this? This is the European Sunday broad weak low. Now it's kind of popping up a couple pieces of energy out there in the Gulf. That makes sense. All right, yeah, and there you go. And it kind of starts to deepen a little bit out. Let's go. We'll go to the 0, 0, Z run here. All right. Running further, running further. And so the European 0, 0, Z does have something of an area of low pressure coming into South Florida. Yeah. So, that's the 0, 0, Z European. It'll be interesting to see what the current European shows. Let's go over to the Canadian model. And we'll just run through time here. Looking through. Janice says you're not scary. I try not to be. Yeah. Proactive. Right. It's just a matter of like looking at data, discussing data, making sure everybody's good to go. That's all. Yeah. So the Canadian GEM model bringing something of an area of low pressure in. Yeah. So you notice there's an uptick, and I feel like that's the one thing that I'm taking away is that remember models are going to go back and forth, but there's a definite trend back into a stronger category. We're not talking major hurricane, but there's a definite trend back into a stronger categorization. And so because of that, we need to be watching this. Could it be a big rainmaker? Yeah. Could it be something more than a big rainmaker? Also possible. And so we need to be ready for that. Let's go. Let's see. That was the GFS. Let's look at the icon. We'll just roll through time here on the icon. There's the area of low pressure developing. The icon doesn't go out but 120 hours, and you can see it's developing a low there. What is that? 998 millibars. So even, the icon's trying to get in there a little bit, right? So we're starting to see a bit of a trend where, yeah, we could be perhaps discussing something trying to get going. Terry's asking, any chance all this probably will dissolve away before it gets Florida? The models are trending that it wants to go a little more tropical. So anything can happen. Yeah. I do think either way, no matter what we're discussing here, I do think that the primary concern with this, because it's going to be a long style duration type event, we're discussing some pretty decent rain numbers. And that to me is kind of the biggest concern is the rain numbers. Um, you know, we could be talking about a whole lot of moisture. Let's come back over and look at the models. This is the European AI. Definitely trending with not like a significant hit, but what pressure is that? Like 996? Yeah, like 996 millibar low. So it's also showing an area of low pressure getting going, right? So, and then yeah, a lot of people were asking about the HAFS A, HAFS B. What is it? Is it 12? So the ironic idea here, I gotta find which deal this is. I gotta find this. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Is it 12? Hold on a second. I'm just 15, 90, it's 98. Basically, what a lot of the models are trying to show, I'm just looking through the different things here. What a lot of the models are showing is this like piece of energy from the Pacific crossing over and moving into the Atlantic. And I mean, if that happens, that would make some sense. You know, a little piece of vorticity there. I'm just looking around here. That's not it. Yeah, that's not it. All right. Anyway, so um, no matter what we're looking at, tropical or not, let's discuss kind of some of the rainfall scenarios here, okay? So models are struggling with this idea, going back and forth with it, right? So let's do this. Give me a second. Let me come back over here. This is a lot easier, I'll tell you, on my computer at home, where I have multiple monitors and all that. All right, so this is the GFS model. Brand new run of the GFS. Just 6Z just came in. Matt's 932. What are we looking at? That was worldwide stuff. I was trying to find the Pacific feature. I was not succeeding with looking at the Pacific feature, so ignore that for a second. But anyway, so there we go. So GFS model. This is Sunday through Thursday. Okay. Lots of rain. Notice the further south you go, the more the GFS model is trying to show a significant rain, right? And as a matter of fact, if we were to even scroll further south, let's see, let's just go to the Florida view here, right? Like if you look further south, it's showing areas of 12 to 18 inches of rain in South Florida next week. So that's the GFS with the European model, okay? Again, 6Z's coming in, but this is going to be based heavily on the 12Z. But clearly the European is saying some showers for us, but significantly higher rain amounts down into South Florida. Now this is going to get fine-tuned, but the best idea we have without looking at guidance is the Weather Prediction Center putting out their products, and this product here is their rainfall for the next 7 days time, and you're looking at 6+ inches of rain in some spots, spread 3 to 6 south, 2 to 4 north. That's kind of the idea. Okay. So yeah, again, Christy says 1 inch of rain. Remember, computer models are going to bounce back and forth. They are guidance, not gospel. This is a forecast product. This is what we're going to moreover use. Okay. All right. Rebecca, I don't think the HAFS A and B don't start running until there's an actual storm. There was an invest in the Pacific that was running across Central America, getting into the Caribbean, getting into the Gulf, getting into the Gulf and doing its thing. So that's kind of where we were tracking it off the HAFS A and B yesterday. All right. So in terms of, let's just pause for a second and see the forest through the trees here. At this moment in time, what do we know, right? Let's just start there and go from there. What do we know? We know rain chances are going to dramatically increase looking at next week. That's what we know, right? So looking at our 7-day forecast here, rain chances going up, right? 60, 70% coverage of showers and thunder showers. All right. That's what we know. Outside of that, we're going to be tracking the tropics. We're going to need to watch, and we're going to need to see how this plays out. Christy says the HAFS A and B were a bit interesting. Oh, they were a bit interesting for sure. But when it comes to computer models, consistency breeds confidence. And so until we've got that, we're not worrying, right? Computer models are good enough for what they're good enough for. All right. So that's where we're at. Andy says, so Palm Beach probably will get heavy rain. Yes. I would suspect most of Florida, like the Orlando area south, probably going to be getting some heavy rainfall. What we know is the grass is going to grow and the dogs will be unhappy getting wet paws. That's true. Yeah. Thank you for always being on top of things and not hyping things. Of course, Kurt. And anybody that wants to hype, all I'm going to say is I know what we as a meteorological community know, right? Like looking at model data, having gone to school, I hate the hype because it's easy to post for clicks. And somebody was trolling this morning talking about our future cast is we buy it for clicks. And it's like, no, our future cast is a modified version of the IBM graph model. And from that, we don't buy it for clicks. It's just a mesoscale model that we use. So to that point, I can assure each and every one of you that, listen, if we hype, you're not stupid, right? Like, you will realize when we cry wolf every single storm, and you won't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. Now, don't confuse like our coverage with hype, because tone is hype. Coverage just means we're there for you. Don't confuse the two, right? So we're going to be there for you. That's not hype. It's our coverage. The tone of that coverage would dictate hype. You can tell when you're clicking around, and some of these weather people, even meteorologists. There are some meteorologists, like fake. Oh, I'm the authority on tropical systems Facebook page, whatever. You can tell when some of those guys are just throwing out goofy hype. But I am surprised that some meteorologists that like went to school for this, I am surprised that sometimes they hype too. But I can only control me. All right. That's all I can do. And I tell everybody this all the time. I work hard to earn your trust, but I work even harder to keep your trust. Okay. And I don't mean that lightly at all. So, looking at our 7-day forecast, all we know for now is that there's going to be a storm system or several storm systems, several pieces of energy coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. There's going to be opportunities for some rainfall here for sure. Lots of rainfall. Somewhere in Florida, we're going to deal with some flooding potentially. Outside of that, could this try to develop tropically? Models are trending that direction. Um, Computer models are guidance, not gospel. So let's watch for the trends. Consistency breeds confidence, right? Andy says you're a motivational speaker too. No, definitely not. So glad you started this coffee talk. I schedule my appointments around it. Thank you. Terry, thank you. I do too sometimes. Like today's appointment for my son, I was not able to do it. So here we are. I'm sitting in the parking lot like a goober. Anybody that's walking by is like, well, that guy must be on some very important business call. So I apologize for it. But hey, as long as I've kind of gotten it to where I can do it from the car again in a decent way, then we're good. Somewhere at some point it's going to rain more at 11. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Karen. I appreciate it. People are motivated by blah blah. Stacy says people are motivated by different things and emotions, and yeah, and hype will cause anyone to panic, right? And I try to say that I'm going to fight that, because like a lot of my friends are like, hey, I heard this was going to happen, or hey, I heard that was going to happen, and my whole perspective on things is, I get what you may have heard, but we can chat about this and let's calm ourselves down. All right? That's where I'm at. I a cold front. Man, hopefully soon. I'm I'm ready for something. Golly, I'm ready for something. William, will this be a hurricane for next week? William, how I'm doing the best I can, William. But model data isn't perfect. So at this point, some computer models are saying it's possible. Some computer models are saying it's not. So let's watch. Let's watch. Let's wait. We don't know. The answer is, will this be a hurricane next week? We don't know. We can watch the trends and wait for there to be a consistency among models and among model runs. All right? Andy, why are your friends not watching you? If we were besties, I'd be only listening to you. I feel like the thing is people watch me, but then they hype from other sources. And then they're like, well, wait, that's not what they like. But I don't. Yeah. So if I'm saying like we don't know, and then somebody else is saying like I think there's going to be a Cat 9, well then what? Hey man, Burris, what's going on? Like even I've had bosses over the years say things to me like, "Hey, watched your coffee talk. Why are you not talking about this becoming that Cat 9 that Bloodity Blah is talking about?" Because boss, one run of one model said that. Consistency breeds confidence. That's where experience comes into play, right? That's where experience comes into. I've tracked so many of these, and those of y'all that have lived here in town a long time, you've tracked many of these. You know how this works, right? So let's just keep watching. Let's just keep watching. Let's just keep watching. Okay, that's all. We're good. Let's just keep watching. Margaret, why can't you say it? Chemtrails, say it. You know what's happening. You're a godly man. Will tell the truth. Chemtrails are causing the strength. No, no. That's condensation trails off of hot engines and cold air in the atmosphere. Use your head, people. Okay, that's all I got. Any other questions, comments, concerns about actual science? I saw there was a congressperson that said we control weather yesterday. A member of Congress. Now, I don't care if you're on the left or you're on the right. I literally don't care about your politics. But a member of the United States government said they control the weather yesterday. I just saw that and I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? Can I tell you something? We don't control the weather. Good God, what is happening with this planet? Okay, so serenity now, Costanza. Hi. Do we have questions, concerns? I wish I had answers on what was going to happen with this next week, but here we are. You could, but you refuse to do the rain dance. This is correct. This is correct. Oh boy. All right. I hope you all are having a great day. We're going to have a great day. Today, tomorrow, take the opportunity to do the outdoor stuff because it's just going to get crummy weather eventually, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to get a little crummier. All right. Sound good? Be good. All right. I believe I'm doing the noon and 4 today. Checking. Standby. I am doing Wesh 2 News at noon and Wesh 2 News at 4. Perfect. So, Wesh 2 News at noon, Wesh 2 News at 4. I'll see you there, and then I'll post some stuff through the day. You know I will. All right, listen. Be good. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Let's watch for a rainy pattern next week. Now is just the time to just check our hurricane kits, make sure we have everything. All right. And as Angel says, the end point is to be prepared. Even if nothing happens, protect yourself. That's it. Nikki's asking about the UF game tomorrow. I think we'll be okay. Maybe a couple of stray showers, but I think we're going to be okay. All right. All right. Be